Title: Shadows of the Mothman. The small town of Millstone was nestled within a valley surrounded by vast stretches of dense forest. It was quaint, picturesque even, with its winding roads and quaint cottages, a beloved sanctuary for those seeking solitude. However, beneath the town's peaceful facade, stories brewed, ghostly tales passed down through generations, whispered in hushed tones by bonfire light. The one that struck the most terror into the hearts of its residents was the legend of the Mothman. It began one crisp autumn, as dusk cloaked the town in blue-gray shadows. 17-year-old Clara, an aspiring photographer, had always been curious about the local lore. She decided that this year she would investigate the tales. Armed with her camera, she set off one evening to a spot known as Raven's Ridge, the reputed site of Mothman sightings. "Be careful out there," her grandmother warned her, eyes clouded with concern. Clara smiled, dismissing the old stories as exaggerated folklore, relics of a superstitious past. As she trekked to the ridge, the forest danced with vibrant colors of fall. Golden leaves crunched underfoot, and the air was crisp, swirling with the promise of winter. The night loomed ahead and Clara felt a thrill as she imagined the shots she'd capture, the play of shadows, the mysteries of the woods. When she reached the ridge, the sun had dipped below the horizon. The world was bathed in the eerie glow of the moonlight, casting strange shapes among the trees. All was silent, save for the soft rustle of leaves. Clara set her camera against a gnarled tree, adjusting the lens and exploring the dimly illuminated surroundings. Just a few shots at dusk, she thought, snapping a picture of a distant silhouette that resembled an ancient oak. But moments later, her instincts stirred. A flicker of movement in the trees caught her eye, a dark shape gliding erratically through the trunks. Clara's heart raced. Some would say she was foolish to pursue this adventure, yet she felt a pull toward the unknown. She followed the twilight shadows deeper into the forest, instincts screaming that something was not right. Flashing her flashlight intermittently, she pressed forward. Suddenly, a blood-curdling screech shattered the silence. The hair on Clara's neck stood up as the cry echoed through the trees, sending her heart into a wild frenzy. She turned, ready to flee, when she caught sight of it, a gargantuan figure perched upon the craggy ledge of a cliff. Its wings unfolded in a span that seemed to eclipse the grove. Eyes like glistening marbles glared down at her, reflecting the moonlight with an otherworldly glow. Clara froze, heart pounding in her ears. This was it, the Mothman. The very essence of fear and wonder wrapped into one ghastly silhouette. "What do you want?" she stammered, feeling small and vulnerable, trapped in the leaves below its menacing form. The figure merely cocked its head, unblinking, and Clara realized the tales hadn't been mere stories. She needed to escape. In a rush, she stumbled back, shouting for help despite knowing it was futile. Suddenly, the sound of fluttering wings filled the air, and without warning, the Mothman descended toward her in grotesque, sweeping motions. Her instincts kicked in, and she turned to run, sprinting back through the woods. The forest seemed to twist and tangle, branches snagging at her clothes as she bolted. Clara's only thought was to escape. As she raced, she could feel the presence pursuing her, the rhythmic beats of wings echoing in the distance. The light from her flashlight flickered, dimming with every hurried step. Finally, bursting into a clearing, she spotted the path leading back to the road. Relief flooded her senses. But as Clara neared the end, the ground beneath her shifted, the earth seeming to swallow her. Agonizing pain shot through her ankle as she stumbled and fell. Clara looked back, her breath caught, and there it was, hovering just feet away, looming closer, its eyes gleaming with a malicious curiosity. The Mothman extended its wings wide, blocking her escape. It let out a mournful, echoing wail, a sound that vibrated through her bones and filled her with dread. In that moment, she understood its purpose. It wasn't here to harm her but to ensnare her spirit, just as it had with so many before. She recalled the stories, flickers of light in the darkness, phantoms of despair leading people toward hopelessness. Using the last ounce of her strength, Clara flung her camera at the Mothman. The flash went off, illuminating the night briefly, and she saw its true form, a tortured soul hidden beneath its monstrous visage. The figure paused, momentarily blinded, and Clara seized her chance. She staggered to her feet and dashed toward the road, ignoring the pain in her ankle. The Mothman screeched, a sound filled with anguish, echoing through the dark woods as she fled. As Clara burst onto the road, the cool night air fueled her adrenaline. She didn't stop running until she reached her grandmother's home, breathless and terrified. Days passed, and the Mothman faded gradually into her imagination. But Clara's camera revealed the mystery of that night, photographs of glowing amber eyes and shadowy wings, forever marking the encounter. Soon, she began to share her experience, not as a tale of fear but as a warning to respect the unknown. Millstone continued to whisper about Mothman, but Clara knew the truth. It was not just a creature of darkness, it became a reminder of fear, hope, and the shadows that danced within the forest's heart.